What's happening, Fisher friends? Today, out on the water, had to do something that I hate doing. I absolutely hate this rig, but there's no denying it catches fish. Y'all probably know what it is. So enough yapping, let's get out on the water. A little bit better one, feels like anyway. Oh yeah, solid little fish. Oh yeah, chunky little 2-pounder there, we'll take that. All right, there we go. First good one of the day. 2-pounder on the swim jig. I'll take it. Just made a little switch, been fishing the buzz bait, nothing. Just like that, I knew there had to be one in these pads. I knew there had to be at least one. Oh, better than I thought he was. 1.5-pounder. We'll take it. Swim jig. It's been out of necessity. So much grass and stuff around here. There we go. One on that. That's the new bone color over there at LureNet. I love that they do. This is like the smoky bone. It's got a little smoky gray up top. Natural looking. He was right in the middle of it as I was bringing it through these. And I just hit my screen. Oh boy, that's a good one. Wowzers. Hopefully we can get this baby out. Alright, well luckily that was a lot worse than it looked. Stay patient, go slow. There we go. Save the reel. Whew. Oh no. Game on. Son of a biscuit. Alright, well, the topwater bite kind of died off, so I came out a little bit deeper with the drop shot. Look at that. Caught a fish on the drop shot. Actually, the second one I had hit. First one I lost. Right in the nose, that's what we want. Okay, Debo the drop shot master. 1.25-pounder fish. Alright, there we go. Debo the drop shot master. And there. Little dude that time, but we're getting practice in on the drop shot. Gosh, he smoked that thing though. Holy cow. Alright, there we go. Little pounder. Dirt and stuff on his belly. Was he that far down on the bottom? Or the head of my bait up? This is one of the fat robo worms. This is what, 6-inch, the fat robo, something like that. There's another one. Hit it right there on the fall. Alright, well, listen, I'm not normally a drop shot guy. Dang, look at this dude digging. Holy cow. Not normally a drop shot guy, but if it's catching him, it's catching him. Solid little fish. Oh yeah! Looky there. Catching him on the drop shot. He was hooked too. There we go. Heck yes. Now see, this is one of the only things, well I shouldn't say one of the only things, one of the multiple things that I hate about the drop shot is, now this is tied in 75 knots. I have to take time to undo it, which I don't enjoy. Luckily, I had these in the truck still. 6-inch fat straight tail Tackle Warehouse black blue pumpkin. Love those laminate colors. Green pumpkin on the bottom, black and blue on the top. Yes. Alright, drop shot doing it some more. Oh! Flung it all the way back at me. I let him jump, dang it. Stay down, fish. Another drop shot fish. Edge of grass and bats has been the deal, huh? Alright, stuck where he should be. Down. It's windy. Most of the boats, I think, just all packed it in. I might be the lone vessel out here. There's what, four other boats out here that I saw? They said, nope. Screw the wind. But I'm already out here, so I'm trying it. That's how I'm rigging it. I think this is the owner cover shot. I'm rigging it so it's just barely up inside of it. Just tiniest tip is poking through. That's it. Weedless, snagless for the most part, but there's so much grass that it even gets caught on the bottom of that stuff. There's one. All right. Drop shot still doing it for us. Pads or grass. Those are the things we're looking for. We're still drop shotting, dang it. For somebody that doesn't do this and is not really good at a drop shot, it's a good way to gain confidence. Go out and catch fish on a lure that you're not normally good with, either you don't normally use. Doesn't matter the size, just go out and catch some fish, get some confidence in it. And that's what we're doing today. Tried some topwater, tried the swim jig, but seems like slowing down and dragging this has really been what they've wanted. Another on the drop shot. Yeah, just throwing it around this. This is really almost like fishing a, oh, what is that fish in? Almost like fishing a, you know, a stick bait or throwing a Texas rig on the edge of this. Really no different. There's just a whole bunch more hardware on it you got to watch out for. But it's working. That guy grabbed it and took off running. I didn't even feel it. I saw the line going. That's why it's helpful to have some bright braid to a leader. Okay, this is a perfect example. So that dude had it for a minute. I am going to do the gill removal here, where we go in through the gill. There we go. With the gill removal like that, just a tiny bit of blood. There we go. He'll live to fight another day. Much better than when you get them gut hooked a little bit and keep pulling and yanking their stomach. Then they're for sure dead. That guy should be fine. There's another fish right on the edge of it. This back edge where it's blowing in. Let's see if we can drop anchor here. Oh my gosh, he's better than I thought. As I'm dropping anchor, oh my gosh, stay on fish. Oh yeah, best one of the day on the drop shot. All right, there we go. Chunky, probably 2-pounder there on it. I'll take it. All right, there we go. I'll take that. The drop shot in the wind, the crazy wind. Just trying to throw stuff at this grass and pads. Oh my goodness. One more on the drop shot. Well, as the wind keeps picking up, I'm wondering if this will be the sign out fish. Good fighter though, my gosh, jumping and digging. Look at that. Holy smokes. Ooh. All right. Another drop shot fish. Trying to get my drop shot game going. Probably pounding 3/4 on that dude. Chunky. Oh yeah. Working the old drop shot. There we go. One more solid fish on the drop shot. Another swimmer. Here I thought I was blowing and drifting. All right. That's going to be my sign out fish. He threw my worm. You, sir, are the sign out drop shot fish. Well, fishing friends, there's no denying it. The drop shot is a great way to catch fish. And this was the worm that I was using. Apparently, they no longer make it. The 6-inch fat straight tail. This was the Tackle Warehouse black and blue. It's a laminate with green pumpkin. So black and blue on the top, green pumpkin on the belly. Great natural looking color. Stained kind of dirtyish water. Love something like this. And look at this. What do you think of this, Riley? What do you think of this, Riley dog? What do you think of this, Stubby? Do you like having a friend come visit? You having a sleepover, or are you two friends? Yes, what a good girl. Dog sitting for the parents. That means Mr. Stubby gets to have a sleepover with his best friend, Riley. So we got 2 dogs. But yes, the drop shot. Just like the weight there, it gets tangled into everything, even your rod sleeves. By the way, have I told you these? Love these. Not sponsored by them. Don't know them. I've never talked to them, but they make some dang good rod sleeves. Evolve. They're like that neoprene so the hooks don't get caught in it. It's got rubber at the bottom, a rubber shell at the top that helps protect the tip of your rod. And Riley just knocked over the light. Stubby's like, what in the heck, girl? Don't you know we're filming? Anyway, it's also got the elastic deal here that you can adjust depending on the size of the rod. So yeah, like these, the Evolve rod sleeves. I'll link them below, just like all the other gear. If you ever go out and check out any of the stuff at Tackle Warehouse, use my link. A little bit does come back to me to help out the channel, so I appreciate that. But this is the deal, the drop shot. It gets stuck on everything. Every fish that you catch, you have to untangle the leader, and I go usually like a 10-inch leader on it. You have to untangle the leader. It gets stuck in stuff. If you break off, you have to retie it. It is a pain in the butt. But this day, when I was fishing grass edges, pad edges, any sorts of vegetation on the edge of it, it was working perfect because the bottom was all scummy. So with the weight hitting the bottom, keeping your lure, in this case a worm, up off of it, it worked perfect. It caught a bunch of fish. The hook, I really like this hook. It's the Owner Cover Shot. There's an HD and a regular. I've got some of both. HD is just a little bit heavier duty if you want something a little bit thicker wire. And I'll be honest, this is way more of a spinning reel than I need. I got one of these to try out, the Shimano Vanford. Is it a great reel? It's a very nice reel. However, for like $100 price point, I don't feel like I need to go over that for a spinning reel. The Nasi, there's, Daiwa's got some at that price point. I feel like the drag works well for what I'm doing around here. I'm not in salt. I'm not catching 20-pound, salt fish, inshore stuff. I'm catching, maybe a 5-pound bass is the biggest I run into here on the usual. I just don't need a super crazy expensive spinning reel, but is it nice? It is a dang nice reel, but I'm just as happy with my $100 ones. You start to get lighter once you go up in price. Smoothness, how smooth the reel is. There's certain things you get, but overall, I don't feel like it's night and day difference where it's like if you have a $200 reel, it's just leaps and bounds above. More in the bait casting world, I feel, where you start to get different components for heavier fishing stuff, or brake systems is a big one. We're starting to see some of that trickle down into the more affordable reels, but I'm apt to spend more on a bait caster than I am a spinning reel, if anybody wonders. The braid, I was running 15 pound. This is the P-Line Endurex. Pretty much been the only braid I've been using. I've been testing some different stuff on my bait caster, one of my frog combos. We'll talk about that next video, or the one after, but 15-pound Endurex in that bright green to a 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, the P-Line Tactical. And then the rod, also Shimano. This is the Intenza, the spinning rod. I really liked it. It's a 7-foot medium extra fast, rated for lures 3/16 to 5/8. I was running just a little 1/8 ounce kind of cylinder drop shot weight there, and that's all it took. Not a fancy combo. It's something that I just hate to throw because the drop shot's a pain in the butt. I feel like it gets snagged on everything. I don't know. But the key with the drop shot there was when you have those really scummy bottoms, you know, normally if you'd fish like a Ned rig or a jig, a lot of places you just can't. You know, a lot of the ponds around here, some of the lakes, they get so choked up with vegetation and that scummy stuff that as soon as you try to drag something on the bottom, it's all globbed up. So that is one of the cases where a drop shot really does shine. You know, gravel, rock, you can do well there, but you might end up burning through a bunch of weights too. So for me around here, one of the spots that has really worked is on the edge of vegetation. And I also will say, throwing it from a boat or kayak is leaps and bounds easier and better, in my opinion, than trying to fish it from the bank. It's one of the reasons I hated it so much from the bank, because I was always getting tangled and stuff, always getting caught up. Even if I was rigging it, you know, EWG like this, where it was, you know, not going to be getting caught and stuff, still somehow found ways to wrap it and break off. And then it's just a pain because you got to tie the hook, figure out your leader. I hate messing with it. But in the kayak and boat, it is a lot easier to use. And I wasn't doing anything crazy with it, just flipping it, casting it to the edge of those grass lines and just hopping it back right on the edge of those. There was some pads there, same thing, hopping it out there, hopping it back to the boat, and just kind of drag and popping the rod tip. I'd say that's one thing that people tend to do too much of, is try to overwork a lure, whether it's like a Ned rig, shaky head, drop shot. You know, you're throwing it out there and, you know, just kind of barely hopping it and bring it back. You don't need to impart a ton of action. A lot of times, like you can see there, they're biting it when I'm doing nothing to it. It's just sitting there looking natural. Same thing will happen with like your fluke or Ned rig. You know, you might feel it when you pop it, you know, a fish grab it, but a lot of times it's just as you're dragging it, moving it and letting it sit there and they're just looking at it. It's too easy and they just pick it up. And then when you go to move it again, you feel a fish set the hook. So one thing I would say is try not to overwork those type of finesse baits. Now today's subscribed fishing friend, JT Phenom 0811, asked a perfect question about spinning reels and leaders. How long of a leader should I use for bass fishing? So when I do my leader, I like to make it usually 7-8ish foot, enough so when I reel this all the way up to cast, right there is a little bit farther than I normally would, but when I reel it up to cast, this leader knot does not go into my reel. So I like my leader knot to start somewhere in here. So when I go to cast, it's not going to be getting in this, because sometimes the edge of your leader knot will catch some of this other braid. So that's how I like to do it. Some people like to go more, you know, maybe you like to go a little bit less, but I like it to where it's kind of right in this region, just in front of the reel. So it's not going to go into that, that knot's not going to go into there. Listen, fishing friends, comment below. Has the drop shot been a player for you this year or years past? Is it something you rely on when the bite's tough? Is it something you don't mess with because it's too much of a headache? I'd like to hear what you have to say, because it's interesting how lures and rigs can be an absolute favorite for one person and the other guy's like, I've never thrown it, I hate them, they're awful. That's fishing. There's not one single right way to do it. So that's it for me. I got to edit. Love y'all. Thanks for watching, and until next time.